Good morning, everyone. We're so glad that you're here.
Welcome to the last of our summer Tauto seminars. But before we begin, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that yesterday, mass graves of victims from the 2014 genocide were exhumed so that the bodies could be moved to a dedicated cemetery. Even healing can be devastating. We remember those the community has lost, extend our heartfelt prayers to the families of those affected, and we honor all those who remain. Hun becher hatten seminar ama ya havini ya dawin. Le beri ke em das pebeken em de khwasen hun zaneben ke le birame hamuadaya ke beri durojan chan gorin bekom yen korbanien fermana sala 2014 da jenu hatten wekeren. Da termen man ben go hasten bo goristaneke heran. Heta derman keruna birineke Usa ji ishike gelike ishike mazana. Hode Marien webe de Lovani e Khwashabaka u sabre u hedane bede herkesi jua que kesik jumala wi leve fermane de chube u hode vebe katali na khwashie jehelke ezidira. So today, as you've gathered, we'll deliver our introductory remarks in Kurmanji, pasting the English language translation into the chat on Zoom and into the comments on the YouTube channel. Our guest, Dr. Estelle de la Bretèque, will deliver her talk in English, and our inimitable Zaidan will offer live Kurmanji translation of her remarks. Iro, wakibere, seminarama beduzmana, Eme peshkotena khwa bezmane kurmanji bejen, eme khwa beden naskeren ou eme mevana khwa heja Dr. Estelle de la Bretèque beden naskeren bezmane kurmanji. Eme wergerin yani tarjume Ingiliz de chatte de denen, de chatta Zoom ou jbo tamashivan YouTube, de chatta YouTube ji. Hoshe mevana ma Dr. Estelle we go to Nahwa be Ingilizi beja o Mamoste Zedan, we bedev bezamane Kurmanji tarjume beka.
Zaidan, may I interrupt for 1 minute? I'm so sorry. And everyone, just a quick note that we really look forward to hearing your questions today. If you're on the YouTube live stream, please feel free to leave your questions in the chat on YouTube, and we'll be looking at that and paying attention to that. And if you're attending through Zoom, please feel free to leave your questions in the Q&A section. We're really looking forward to hearing from you today. Thank you for the translation.
زوم ببینیم هون کارن ل Q&A ده پرسیارت خودین و اگر هون سر یوتیوب تماشا بکن هون کارن کامنت های چات یوتیوب ده پرسیارت خودین شاغ و همه بخیر هون همه بخیر هاتن از زیدان خلفم از نویزمان و ورگیر و ریمبری پروژه شنگال لبسم از لدردورا وان چیروک و سترانا مزن بوم و دمالك ده وراستی و ما گفتاریا چیروک سترانا دافیرا خودی وقتی از بگرگان تلویزیون هبو و تلویزیون هبا یکی جمع گفتاریا چیروک و سترانا نذکر چیروک هات گودن مال ده تنیه وقتی کهرب نبا بیرا دافیرا مجی سستر دبو هنگی چیروک گیم گودمان جبر بگوتنی و بگیرانی اف چیروک وستران دینا پاراستن و بگوتن و بگیران ونداد من پشتی قدم گوهاستنا دا پیرامم دید اف چیروک دید مالا مدى نایم پشتیوه که مدست به لگریانا چیروک وسترانا کرد مش متى خل دست دوروي أشان بعشان شيء بيجو استران بيجي دي وسا هرشي رو بيجو استران بيجي كي از شاندم بعشان شيء رو بيجو استران بيجي نوش وەکە زارۆکێکی ئاقلەوی هاتیە تاریکردن بڕێە مەدرسە عەرەبی و تەلەڤیزۆنە عەرەبی من و وێ هەنگێ زانی و چیرۆک و سترانت داپیرامە چیرۆک و سترانت خەلکی ئێزدی هەموێنە وێ هەنگێ سپی حەسیام هەکە تەنگاوی نەمایی لێدەین بەری چەند ساڵە ماری و کورستی ناسکردن بوونە هەڤارتمە و هەفکارتمە سەر پێشدەبرن و ڕێخستنە ڤی پرۆژەی و بمەڕە گەهشتنە بێ دەرێ شیفاتەوتەوە ئاوا کرد فێستیڤالە و ڕێخست بتیمێ مەیش 12 کەسارە و نوهام بان سمینارە هەورە ڕێبە دبن ئەم دانوستاندنە نێبە ئێزدیا و لێکۆلینەرێت ئینتەرناسیۆنال کورتتر بکەن و زێدەتر بکەن و دا ئەم ئەرشیڤە خوا بینن هەم بەرچاوێن خەلکی ئێزدی و هەمژی جڤاکە لێکۆلینەرە نوها ئەزێ مەجارێ کریستین و دوورە ماریژی لە خۆ بدن ناسکردن و میهڤانەمە دکتۆر ئێستێڵژی پێشکەش.
Oh, Christine, I think you're on mute.
I'm sorry, it's so noisy here. Navem Christine Robinson is professor of folklore u kevne shopia nehestbar ya Rojavaya Asya yanji Roshalata Navinen lezoningeha Exetere le Ingiltere. Wabo 6 sal ez vekoline serçand u dirokenezidi adikam و جبرve فرمانا تالی یا سر خلکی یزیدی من بالا خواه به تمامی دا سرپرستن بایینا چانده. شنگال لیبس پروژه ما ممکن بود به تایبت جبر هبونا شریک یه دلال ما مستزیدان و حواله وی ما مستعمد هر دو شاعر و ورگرین و جدل و جان خمپارن دیروک و ادبین دفکی یه خلکی وان هر دوه تیمکی جده کسان پیکانین که همو ایرول بدره بمرنه من بخیر هاتن تیم ما
دم باش ناوی من ماری لبوسا الشاعر و ورگیر و پروفسورم دم زرینر و روی برا کشکولم نوند چند هنره لزننگه امریکیه عراق لسلمانیا Database kashkul yakshi database diroka divkiye hari mezin pira rojilata navin. Mechend projen diroka devkien mezin u gering leslemania u musil uqa leshingalji bkhwa vergertine. Hun hamu bkhair khatin seminar ma.
شنگال لیبس پروژەیەکە دیرۆکە دەفکیە و 12 خەمخۆری چاندا ئێزدی پڕێبە دەدەن دا لێکۆلینێ هەم لەسەر ئەتەبێت ئێزدی یەدەفکی و هەم یە تەنگاویان نەمانێدە و هەمژی لەسەر ژینگەها ئارەتناو بکەن بەڕێیا چیرۆک ژیانێت سترانبێژ و چیرۆکبێژ و گوهدارێت وان لە جوپاکە ئێزدیە شنگالێدا ئەوتە و ئەرشیڤامەیە دیرۆکە بسەرخۆ هاتیە خەلکی ئێزدی هەم ژناف خەلکی ئێزدی هەمژی بدەستن خەلکی ئێزدی بڕێە پێشکەشکردنە چیرۆکێن ژیانێن چیرۆکبێژ و سترانبێژ و گوهدارێن وان لە جوپاکێدا و دەوێ داویێدا مەشاهی ژیان و بیرێنوان کرد بڕێە فێستیڤالە تەوتە و یا تیمامە لە گەلیە لە شێڕی خستی لە 29 مەها شار بهۆری
لێ شنگال لیبس پروژەیەکی نابتەنێ پەرستنێ وایە لێژی جدانوستاندنە لەژەی وایە نابتەنێ پەرستنەرەیە لی جدانستاندن زانین جیره. آرشیو ما تاو دستکه جزانین خواجی یا خلکی یزیدی لسر خواره. افزانین دبدفکیه و سرخاتی خلکی یزیدی گهشتی ما که وان خم خواره چاندا یزیدی گم کریه همجی خلکی یزیدی را و همجی جه خلکی دروی جواکی یزیدی را. اف سمینار که کل مینا با آواکرنا دیالوگ که لناو اکادمیسیان و ویکولینه را دا جالیه که و تیم آرشیو تا و گودار نزیدی دا جالیه که دیوا. اف سمینار زانینا غریبا نادنا پیش و کی زانینا بتنه لی آرمانجی دانستاندن لنف ازیدیان و وان ویکولینرن جدر به خلک یزیدی هزدارتر و زیده تر بکه.
Yeah, please.
ستافش انگلیس به قیمت چکرنا بالانس که به کلینه لنیوا زانای خلکی خوا و دربی خلکی خوا سانی و ام خوازن به بهرو قیمت بجه بکن. مدو لکولینری هجا جواکا ازدی خوندی کرن کو زانگه ها کار دکن دا وان سمینارا پری ببین لی جچن سبب و احسنگی سیاسی کو گریدای بون به اسلامتی آوان و بود ام نکار. ام بیعدالت جدیه لبی قادا کولینی دا و تیم ما خباتین خواه بردوام دکه دا و ببشت جمهورین.
اما تشتکی بیشن سر فرما دارم. دکتر استل و دور 20 دقیقه لسر کار خواه جمهور بتیور. ما مستزیدان جوار ورگرین سر کرمانجی بکه بجا ام بیشن به ورگراوی و به دور 40 دقیقه. پاشره امی مجاله بدن پرسیارا. جکره مخوا اگدار بن هکرف سمینار و هدی در باس به جبر ورگره. ام هوی دارن هر دو زمان بین بهیستن و ام هوی دارن که هر کسی کی گودارا پی و استل فهم بکن. تشتکی جی هیا وقت ورگراندنه و وقت که زیده تر بدم که ام بگوتنی استل بفکرن باش بفکرن و ام هیوی دارن که اف و گالا مگرمتر دولمنتر بکه.
از ای روش دکتر استل ورگرکم واتاوی اوکو از وفادار جو ورگراندن پیداوی را لی همان دمیده واتاوی نه اوکو از پیداوی همویر الهفت لیبا بهوری همه و تیم شنگالیوز به دانستاندن زانی که ام نرینت همو مهبانت سمینارت تو به بهرو قیمت دینید وک دانستاندن که زانینه.
از پیر کیف خوشم رو به بخیر خاطنا دکتر استل امید لبرتک. استل اتنوموزیکولوگ وانا ویکولینا خوال سرغریبی و کلام نزیدیان ارمنستان را چکریه. و برینها ویکولین سرشین خلک نیو گراو ابشرون لأذربایجان و لسر خلک مولکان جواکا کریستیانین اورسی یندر بدر لهم هره مقدسه. لاو که جنیم پینابرن کردشی در و دور استانبوله و آمده که تین ناس کرن بناوه کچکندو. ویکولین خواه نوه لسر گوهرتنه بردوام لوی و رسمن اولی لناو ازیدیان ده ببید ازیدیان دیاسپورا لأوروپا. وشناوي يا سركي بناوي كلام داستان وغريبي لناب ازيدين ارمنستان دا بزمان فرانسي يعني parole mélodisée, récit épique et lamentation chez les Yézidis d'Arménie. Mevana me Changotarji, le sar Dengbejan, le harem Kafkase ou Anatoliae Nevisandane. Welcome, Dr. Estelle. We're very happy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be with you today. And thank you for the introduction. So the title of my presentation, and I will share my screen now, is Making Yazidi Heroes in Armenia from Funeral Songs to MP3. So as Christine just said, I have been working in Azerbaijan, in Turkey, and in the Caucasus. And in all these fieldworks, I have been working on vocal repertoires. And an important focus of my research was to better understand melodized narratives. And by melodized narratives, I mean narratives or stories put into a melodic mold that differ from daily speech intonation. It can be epic narratives or narratives for beloved people that are gone, dead or in exile, for example.
Just pass.
Yes. Dr. Estelle,
Yeah.
Do you have the YouTube channel open?
No, I'm on Zoom.
We're getting a little.
Do you hear me?
We do.
Mm-hmm.
The voice.
The voice.
Echoing back, we can hear ourselves clearly,
Mm-hmm.
but with a 30-second.
If I stop sharing my screen, is it better? I'm not sure.
Dr. Estelle Hozak is helping us with the Zoom session today. It suggests maybe lowering the volume of your computer and see if that helps. But yes, stopping the screen share did stop the problem.
It did stop. Okay.
I think it did, yeah.
So maybe we will do without this.
Maybe just like lower the volume of your computer, and when you have the videos to share, and you can just like raise the volume.
I adjusted automatically the volume as it was before, and let's see how it works.
Okay.
Is it okay for you now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I share again the screen.
yes, I don't. Our voice.
She's going to try it.
Is it okay now?
I think it still echoes. Yes, it
I'm
does.
sorry.
Yes, it does.
Then let's do like this. I will not share, and I will just share for video excerpts.
Christine, do we have access to Dr. Estelle's talk? Could I share my screen?
I could send it to you.
We don't have we do have the talk, but we don't have the
PowerPoint
presentation.
Dr. Estelle, why don't you send me the presentation, and I'll just pop my email into the chat for you, and why don't we try that, and I'll see if I can get it open here.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us. I just know Dr. Estelle has this wonderful presentation for us with lots of embedded content, so we don't want to miss it.
ما بهورن دنگی ما دجار دنگ دبی لبیدری بجا امی حاول بدن بتشتي باشتر بكن شوار
It is sent
وجه خواجر
without the videos.
The minutes never seem so long as when you're trying to fix a technical problem.
For the beginning, we don't need the visual, so I could continue. Did you translate Zayda in the first part? Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I started my research among the Yazidis in Armenia, it was in 2006, I quickly understood that melodized speech was something very rich and central. It was omnipresent in rituals as well as in daily life. It was poetry and music together, but it had also the capacity to change or to influence the relations between people. So it had a strong social impact in the community.
جد وقتی ما دست به بقولنا خاطری سر زد أرمينيا مبالا خدای والجيدة يعني من تبيني كركو كلام وعوايد وان يعني الهمو جهات هات نقوتن هر جهة كي تشوباي أو كلامت كو بآوا دهات نقوتن لنفخل كده وقالك يعني دانستاندنا وان بريا أويب و يعني دانستاندنا بديروكا خجرة برياوان كلامت أواكري.
And there was something that I admired very much. It was the capacity to put into words and melody strong personal feelings and to share them to the entire community in morning gatherings or in recordings. And it was the topic of my PhD and then of my book.
جي قالك يجي يعني كيف عم جرهات وقت مديتي خلق وسا بريا آوايا وبريا كلامت يا سترانا وسا دانستاندنت كن و النيوان ده قالك يجي هاي يعني حاضرة وآمادة ودبجي ما برياردا از دكتوراه خالصر بنویسم و دورا من كتابك جيل سر نویسان.
So for this research, I had to constitute a corpus that is to record and film women and men who in these villages uttered melodized narratives. I also included to this corpus some existing recordings filmed by families or recorded in studios by professional musicians. A selection of 65 documents are now available online. Yeah, sorry.
جبر بيبا كولي لا بخل كده ما بخوا يعني استران قيد كرن جعلي جنا وميراج جبا و أو تشتم قيد كري همو ليزيكي سياسد وبينجي يعني دوكيومنتيا وهمون أونلاين هنا بيداد بن.
So they are all commented and subtitled in French on a multimedia platform that goes with my book. And Maria, if you can open the document, I don't know, but there is a link that gives access to these documents. So if you wish to watch them, it's free, it's open, and you can watch all the 65 documents.
Dr.
And I found it necessary.
I would love to actually open that for everyone. I haven't received the email yet. In the Zoom chat, there is an option to attach a file.
Okay.
You'll see there's a little face and then a little document with the page turned over. If you click that document icon, it will pop up a selection menu. I think you'll be able to send it to me directly through the chat, and you can send it to host and panelist. Because I do think everyone would benefit so much from being able to see the presentation. I'm sorry to interrupt the flow one more time.
I send you a PDF file, so it should be easy.
Okay.
So the idea, I just continue for one sentence, but just I found it necessary for this multimedia platform to subtitle the documents, as long as in this repertoire, words, language, and poetry are really at the core. They are central. So I found it necessary to add subtitles.
ودیجه او 65 دوکیومنت من کار گرین که همو سبتایتل زمان فرانسی هینه و تعلیق شو بزمان فرانسی سه همو اونلاین هینه و کتابا من رو پیدا دادن یعنی اونلاین سر بی ويب سايت هكا ويل سكرينا مدى خويا كبشتي يددق. Did you receive it?
I still have not received.
So for conducting, it's written that it is sent on the chat to hosts and panelists.
All right, I am really sorry to disappoint. I don't see it yet. Christine doesn't either, and neither does our wonderful Kakozak.
I can continue, and when it appears, we will put it.
Okay.
The
talk is wonderful so far, Dr. Estelle. You're fascinating and riveting without it.
So for this research, I spent a total of 18 months in Ezidi villages in Armenia. And when you will be able to see the PDF, there is a map. So you will see the settlements in Armenia. So there are three main regions in Armenia, and in the previous talks, you already heard about these settlements. So I will not develop today on this. So in this presentation, I would like to discuss something which I found very interesting in Armenia, and it was the link between funeral songs and epic narratives. So in the Ezidi community of Armenia, laments for the dead can be heard in all funerals, but also in daily life. In both contexts, when narratives evoke dead or exiled members of the family, the tone of voice used by the enunciator generally moves to a specific vocal register, which the Ezidis in Armenia call words about something or someone. They say klame ser mria, words on something.
بجر لكولينا خويا دكتوراه يرى از ل هجده محل جندت از ديال أرمينيا أرمنستان ما وبيجي أف يعني نقشة كخريطة كأمريكا دارين السرشاشة لها لبيجي هكا PDF كهشتوا هناك كاربن السرشاشة دارين لأو هرسي هريمت هكا إز دي لجيان دكن لأرمنستان كوبرينها دكتور ماريا سكسو بالكن قال كربو أباران وتالين و حكتم باريان ودجاخته ما بقولنا خاكي بيجي از پایا بتری لهریما أباران ما لدورا شو هريمي ديجي بربه.
So now I propose to start to watch an excerpt if you still didn't get the file. Yes? No. So I will share my screen and we will watch a short video excerpt from laments uttered in funerals And it will be two examples, and I will show both the two examples, and then I will continue to speak. So in the two examples, you will see first a woman who is a close relative of the dead. And in the second part, the Annunciator is a man accompanied by two duduk players. So the duduk is a kind of oboe. And so in the second part, the man is a professional, and he came with two musicians, which are also professionals. So they are paid for this. And the woman, which is a close relative, she's not paid, of course. She's just, as a member of the family, she's uttering a lament. So let's watch these two short excerpts that you can find on the platform. On the platform, we'll give you the link. Yeah.
Okay.
So I share my, sorry. Maybe you translate while I'll share.
Yeah.
Do you want to translate first?
I'm not sure, like my voice echoes when you share your screen.
Okay, do you want to do it now?
I can translate now and then you can share your screen. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say, but بجال فيديو ده هنا يجي بين كو السردودوكي يعني دليزة الدودوكي أو جي دودوك وكا نايا وكا بلوري لأرمينيا نزيكي وانا وآدي جي جنكا وأوجد بجد بيجومان يعني أو مير يعني وكا كارش ويرب درابل دودوكي وبيجي وكا يجي بروفيسيونال ليجن وكا بتني وكا عادتك أجمال أخوة هالقردية تشتاق مش بيرا كربو جرينك أس بجملة بريوي قد قبل با إزدين أرمينيا أب بيجني كلام سر يا كلام سر مرينوان يا كلام سر دربدرة.
Thank you. So I share the screen. First example. Sorry, I will cut it now, but you can watch it online. And let's watch a second short excerpt. sorry, it's a bit weird to cut such utterances like this, but really I really hope you will watch them till the end online. So these two utterances that we could call lament in English constitutes the preferred way in the community to express sad feelings and to talk about traumatic events. And also, even if musical instruments are involved in the performance, my friends in Armenia all agreed to say that this is not music, this is not song, but speech. And according to them, the words uttered are of primary importance. And the melodic mold is important too, but it gives just the mood.
بجي وكما فهردو آوا ديتين كو شغلك آوا أنا شي خلقي ازدي أرمينيا جت بيجي أب نا موزيكا أب نا سترانكا اللي بيبك يا كلامك كوبتني موزيك بيردي أو جيرد بيش كلام يا بيب جيرنا بيش ستران جبان آواير.
So these words about sad events are often linked to very specific and localized contexts of performance, mostly funerals and graveyard feasts. And in this presentation, I would like to highlight the interactions between these very local forms of the Kla-Meser and widespread performances as part of Ezidi culture.
گوتاره ده از جوره خویاکم دیارکم میدانم با آبان کلامن سرد و تشتی دیجی اجدال ادبیات درکیه است.
So coming back to the previous video example, you may have noticed that a member of the family was filming the funerals. It is a very common fact. Recordings of funerals are kept by all families exactly as videotapes from weddings. So you have all the funerals and all the weddings recorded and showed in families. The post-Soviet period is characterized for the Ezidi community of Armenia by a massive immigration, mostly towards Russia, Ukraine, and Germany. But the exiled members of the community try until today to be buried in their village in Armenia. And they very often go back to the village for the graveyard day in June or September. So the link with the village are strongly kept, in particular in what concerns the funerals.
بجي هكا أم بقريان لوان فيديوهات هكا ما نهايتين كده هاد بيا بلا كيشابي كو خلقي إمالي لوي فيديو إذا خويادك لوي دو سامريا وأف قالك يجي تشتكي شائعة بجي هر مالكي بان تعزية خوا توسيد مريت خوا أشخورة أتكنا فيديو وكا دعوات خوا والباخوا دهيل وبجي بشتي الأرمنستان بشتي السوفيت إذا قالك is the شويدري الرابين و برف روسيا وأوكرانيا وألمانيا شون و اللي قالك جوان ما ينجي حتى رجائيو لأرمنستاني وأويت هكا دربدر جيبوين بدقارين دامريين خوا لقندة خويد أرمنستاني بشير والروجة كيج مها شش ويكيج مها
نه
نه بدگرن سر گورهانت خود و اف تشت يعني جريدان وان بجهوار وان هر هيز دارد هيلي.
But when it is impossible for the exiled villagers to come back to attend to funerals, the ritual is filmed by the family and sent to the relatives abroad. This practice exists at least since the 90s. During my fieldwork, I could watch at videotapes recorded by families since 91. And more recently, of course, mobile phones entered into funeral rituals. People quite often now attend to funeral via mobile phones, listening to laments, and sometimes even performing them.
وقتی اویج در بدر بوینج ولاتش در بجی بدگرینا ادو سامریا یا اوید نکار بالبگرین جاب نفس واقع شو خلق دعوت تخوا يعني تصورين وج خلق خويج دربي اي ولاد تشينن بيجي وسا تعزيت خوجي توسيد مرياجي وسا تصورين وج ج كسكارت خوا الدربي ولاد راتشينن وجي اشكيم با اف عادة ج سالت نودادة هل ناب ازيادة.
So, as a result, massive immigration, far from stopping the vitality and the importance of this practice, gave to the ritual a new space spread out over borders and timescales. This new ritual space has no physical locality.
جبشتي به كوچ بريا أبكم و يعني أوزان يعني جرينجي و بعادة تشيا بجا وان أب عادة كرا أجيه كينودا أو جيجي فيديو بو هكا كاربي هر بقه يا خلقي وان إجواني دورش.
So this delocalization of the space and time of the ritual is not a new fact. Laments for the dead were quite often transformed into epic songs. In fact, in the community, the word klameser does not only refer to laments with the English meaning of the word, but for the Yazidis in Armenia, klameser are also what we would call in English epic songs. There is klameser miria and klameser meranie, klameya meranie. And the only difference is that epic narratives are not attached to their specific context of enunciation. The topic of the narratives deals with heroes who died a long time ago, far away. So in the Armenian Yazidi typology, both these enunciations and the ones said in funerals are words on the hero, words on the dead. Klameser miria, klame yameranie.
بجي عادتي بإزدي هر جيه قدامي جيه خوا وش قدامي جي دور تردبن ودشينن خلقي خوي دربي وليتر و اف كلامن سر نبتني لسر مريارينا لكلام سر ميرانيه جي هينا وكلام سر در بدرا هينا وكلام سر جيها هينا.
So I propose to watch a short excerpt of Klameser Meranie, so an epic narrative recorded in Alagaz village in 2006. And this Klameser Meranie is for a very important hero in Armenia, Jahangir Agha, who died a long time ago and far away from the village where I recorded this song. And the idea for me, why I want to show you this, at first I find it very beautiful, but also I want you to pay attention to the melodic shape. It is really similar to lament. If you analyze it in musicological terms, there is a very strong similarity between what we heard before and this.
بيجي اونها همه كلامك سر میرانی جوار دیار بکن کم الگزی گنده الگزی سال 2006 قید کربو اف کلام سر میرانی لسر يعني عقيدة كي ازديره كو دو مرخاصة كي ازدي كو جدور جبوندي خوا عاطبو كشتن يامر دور جبوندي خوا مر وأب قالك يجي ابنابو دنقلنا ازدين أرمنستاني وكردة تركيا يجي أو بنابي مرخاصك بنابي جانجير آغا وبجهة قوة بالا خدايج آلية زانستي موزيكولوج أب كلام سر ميرانية نبقى لكي يعني آلية دنقبة جدايج كلام سر مريا
Hello, Baba, give me holiday, give me rock and stop. Why not? Give me holiday, give me rock and stop. Jagi roha, Baba, Baba, Chandra, Flag, Game. Atate Musha, Sarsinore, Beirone, Baba, Graciara, Chandra, Flag, Musha, Sarsinore, Beirone. Baba Sarsere, Baba, do Khalaya, Dadra, the Keta, Chansare, Ashira, Kurdistan,
So I think you heard some similarities. Unfortunately, there is still not the PDF available, but maybe we can send on the chat later. There was a picture about this. The title of the presentation was Making Heroes in Armenia. So there are several conditions to fulfill to become a hero. First, one should be a man. Until now, that's it. Secondly, one should be dead and have suffered a violent and tragic ending. It's impossible to become a hero if you die quietly in your bed. And finally, and it's probably the most important, to become a hero, one needs to have a big family, sons, nephews, daughters-in-law, etc. And more generally, a social network where the life and death will be narrated in melodized speech. This is how laments are able to become epic narratives, and it is how a hero can be born. I don't hear you.
بيجي سرناوي قوتارا من أو بو آبا يعني أفراندنا على هنگا يا أفراندنا ميرخاصة لنب إزل أرمنستان ده و دجسي شرط هينا داد ميرخاصة كي بأفريني أو هرسي شرط هكا الجنطة هبن تكاري مێرخاسێکی بە ئافرینی شەرتەیەکی ئەوە لازم تو مێرەکبی شەرتی دوێ لازم تو مريبي وتقلق زحمتي الحياة خد دي وتلقرا قرا درباس بوبي شرط السي دات بيا أمير خاصة كي مازلنا خليدا مالك تايا مازن هبي مالباتا كتايا مازن هبي زارو قرمام نبي همو وهمو بيك ذكري دايبن وكاربن يعني نابو دنجتا لبن يا بلابك.
So nowadays, Klame Sermiria, so words about the dead, performed locally at the dead's bedside may be spread in two manners. First, funerals are filmed by families and sent to the relatives in exile. And secondly, for the richest ones, Klameser may be recorded in studios by professional musicians and distributed on compilations of MP3 sold on street markets in Yerevan and Moscow.
بجنها كلام سرمريا دو آوائت نقوتن البر يعني دار بستد مريان ده يا أو هردو آوا يكي تينم تصوير كرنج آلية مال دوان ده و ج خلقي خوي دربي وليترا دشين روبيت خوي دربي وليترا دشين ياد بوي خلقي دولمند شاواتك كلام خوي سرمري خو الاستوديو هذا قيد دكن بريا موزيك جينيت بروفيسيونال و ل سي دي و دي في دي و باند شتاده و ام بي 3 ده دفروشن السر يعني شارع الإيريفاني وروسيا.
Melodized speech plays then an important role in the creation of epic heroes. Exemplary words on the dead tend to become, after a period, words on the hero. They still remind the death that give them birth, but as they spread outside the household and the village, they become more and more autonomous and constituent of a shared Yazidi culture, just like epics.
وأف يعني كلام السر يعني رولك قالك يعني أما زن هنا النيفا يا النيف خلقي ده جبو آبا كرن يا شيء كرنا آبان كلامة السر ميراني وبيجي كلام الميراني يجي دست وكا تشيد بنجارة بري وكلام السلمرية وبشتي دمك هنجيت تنقوتن دبنا كلام السر ميراني.
Great. So I had a slide with pictures of heroes. Maybe we can share just the slides afterwards. But a word about Jahangir Agha, the hero in the previous excerpt. He's very famous for his participation in the Battle of Sardarabad in 1918 against the Ottomans, and he fought with Andranik, an Armenian. So Jahangir Agha and Andranik became national heroes in Armenia. But some words about the hero can be you have heroes with various profiles. So some of them are sportsmen and mafia leaders. So it's very diverse.
وبيجي أف كلام السر ميراني السر قال لك هذا تينا قوتين وكما قوتي جانجر آغا كو شر ب أندرانك ركر لسا يعني لشر سردرابات لسالة 1918 وجبر وشرقر وجبر خوا بر ازدياج بر ألمانيا وسابوا أمير خاصكي بناغو تنگ وكأمير خاصكي نتوي لأرمنستان هموكي لبيجين ديجي قالك جي السر يعني قاعدة مافيا رهينة أو جي وقت دمرن ولسر يعني ورزش بانا جي رهينة هكا خلق تشيد
Many words about the hero are also for soldiers who died in the Karabakh war. So it is also an important amount of Klame Sermeranie that we find on MP3 compilations.
جي قالك شبان استران ميران يجي يعني كلام ميراني لسر وان خلقت هكا بوينة قرباني لشر هريمة أرتساخته.
So there is even, so I spoke about MP3, but there is in some cases, and at least in one case, the first one I heard about, it was in the end of the 1990s. There was even a video clip that was filmed on the grave of Çekoy Hıdır. Çekoy Hıdır was a bandit, let's say. He was killed in 96 in Moscow, and his death was the continuation of a vendetta between his family and an Armenian family. And after his funerals, Çekoy's family commissioned Ali Khane Resho, a well-known SD singer from Armenia, to perform in a video clip filmed on his spectacular grave.
وبجيك جوان سر مافيوزو يعني سر باندت چگوی خدر بو چگوی خدر مافیوزو بو يعني باندت بو کو هاتا کشتن لموسکو سال 1906 و 96 و يعني مرناويجي وكبر دواميك بوج في شريرة وش في مالاوية أرمنستان و حتى فيديو كليب جيل سروي هاتيا تشيكرين سر كلاما سر مرناوير و أو فيديو كليب هاتيا كيشان لسر غورا ويا جالكيا مزي.
And this video clip is available online on the website, on the link you have on the chat. It's the document 11, so you can listen to it.
جاء فيديو كليب جي بيداد ب لهر السر وين لينكي هكا ما جوارا شاندي سر ويب سايت.
So this use of new formats, MP3 or video clips for melodized speech accelerates the autonomization of melodized speech from a local context. They enable a wider diffusion, inscribing thus this phenomenon in a regional political process.
وجاء بكلام سرجي يعني قلتينا بيراما تشاوا ازديل دما عثمانيا يعني جيان ذكر وتشهاد سريوان دما عثمانيا وديرو كمان دما عثمانيا بريا وان كلام سرجي جهشتيا خلقي.
So I'm coming to my conclusion. If you put together the first examples and the last one, the Klame Sermeranie, and if you watch the video clip also in all kinds of MP3 formats, there seemed to be a kind of paradox. On the one hand, klameser are very local forms of speech linked with many pragmatic features of the context, the interaction with the audience, the shared knowledge inside a family or village, which makes sense in a particular village and for particular people. And on the other hand, klameser seem also to have the ability to break these local bounds and to spread more generally and being enjoyed in an independent way, which may remind artworks.
جهتما وكا ميناغا يكيو يالدوي ليجيرا ليجيرا وكان وكا برسكريت بشي بالبيت يكي كلام السر قالك يجي الناف خلق كده تيان و كلام جريداينا ب چند بيبا جوي الناف خلق كده وكا دانستان دنيا اب گهدارن خوره و يعني زانينا هكل نيف قسيت إدمالة كده هبي خلقي مال باتا كده هبي يا يقندكي و عشيرك يا خلقك الآية دي كلام السر قارن يعني ببنا يعني بان جريدانا جي يعني بشكين لا خلقي له و يعني زوتر جي بلا ببن و ببنا جي هكيكا خلق كيف خوجي جي بكري وقت دبنا كلام السر ميرانيا و دبنا هناك يعني اللي في خلقي الدور.
So in the last 50 years, researchers in ethnomusicology pointed out the importance of the context of performance in the study of musical events. This is particularly the case of repertoires like laments, work songs, or lullabies, which are described as integral features of their context of enunciation. But in the case of the Ezidi laments, these features seem to gain a new dimension. As widespread performances, laments become part of the Ezidi culture, which is shared, in which shared memories are shaped by sounds and poetic. And in this sense, just to open, the case study of melodized speech among the Ezidis offers an interesting model for processes of delocalization and globalization existing maybe in other parts of the world.
جل بان بنجي سالي بهوري ده داوي ده خوا يعني باكو لكولنرش ethno music ناسية يعني بالا خدانا ستريس كرن سر يعني گرنگیا آبیوا جوی کانتکست ل خواندنین لسر پرفورمانس نه و اف تایبت دنیا بیرامه کو فرقه و غیبی فرقه تشتاق غیبی و لاوکا و هربان تشتا چند بيواجو جوان رديدا خلق دي بقى يعني او يعني الكيزا ازدياجي افتش تمو خياد انيش كمو لكاري وانجي دحينه كو بيوي بيواجوي يعني بزحمة منو تبقى وافتش يعني كارن يعني شمرة خويا بكن كو تشاوا در بدل كرن و globalization الهرج هندي بآواي دي الدنيا يعني خدنا حولي.
Thank you for your translation, Zedan. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. That's incredible.
Yeah, Dr. Estelle, it's so clear that you're studying this, as you say, melodized speech with such an artistic eye.
Yes.
Sorry, would you like to translate as I go? I'm going to say a few things more.
بيجي ماري بيجي سباس دكتور استيل وكا عليكي هنري وبتشافكي هنري وجوهكي هنري خوندني السربان كلاماتك.
You know, these are creators' questions, how to exist in such local modes of communication that what you're saying actually has a global reach, to go through a level of specificity that's so deep that other people can relate to what you're saying. I mean, these are fundamentally artists' questions. It was really exciting to hear you talk about these things today.
وبشي دام بقى هنا يعني تيجي هشتنا كي ج بيتشتي الناف خلكي ده تيجوتن بيفا جوي يعني ام بدنا بيش وابتني يعني برسيارت هنرمند جهاتنا كو بيفا جوي وبتشتي الدرو دورا آبان كلاماجي بدنا بيش وكا استرانا دا أو سران بين يعني فهم كده.
Well, thank you for your comments. Actually, yes, it's the way it relates to art that is interesting also for me, and I'm myself a musician, so these are questions that, yes, are in my mind. And also among the things that kept me doing my PhD and working on this, I always admired really these performances, and I think they should be kept alive because they have a meaning, very wide importance, and it is something, laments and expressing one's feeling through something melodized is something that is lost in other cultures, for example, in France and in most of Western Europe, I would say. And it is in funerals in France, it's terrible. It's silent. And we don't know what to say, and we don't know how to say, and it's something is missing. And when you go to funerals in Armenia, and I'm sure in Iraq it's the same. I have watched the videos, and I'm working now with Sinjari refugees in diaspora, and it's full of life and creativity, and it's really something wonderful and still alive. So, and it's music, it's poetry, it's what keep people human.
Absolutely.
Good luck translating that. It was so you're speaking in poetry. It's a good thing we have a poet.
وبيجي هكا يعني بالا خبدني وهزريل سيرفي تشتي بكين دبا افتشت يعني لفان دولتت هكا مجيرت بيجن بيش دا شويجي وبان ملتت هكا مجيرت بيجن بيش دا شويجي هكا بوينا يعني ملتت كان بيجن وقع فرنسا بيجي دبا بري انه اللي خالتي ماجي دا هبو لي هات يوم دا كرن بيجي قالك يجي تشتكي يخوش وقت تشيني بملاتك وتوساد بيني يعني حتى يعني قدري امريت خوساد كرن نوسا بيدنجي مرنين وانجي درباست بن بيجا يعني تشتكي قالك اسبي شاد بمخو.
I have so many questions I would like to ask, but we've also received really great questions from the audience. So I will focus on them.
ما ريد بجي قالك برسيارد مبخوة هينا كواس بكم لي قالك برسيارج آلي قهدار المجي بقشتين ما وتما شباند ما كو أمي برسيارد وان بدنا بيش.
So the first question we received was in the first few minutes from an attendee who said, I am a cataloger. I came across a Yazidi prayer book. The text is written in Russian, Latin, and Yazidi alphabets. And he wondered if you were familiar with the Yazidi alphabet he hadn't come across very many resources about it and wondered what your perspective was. Again, this is very different from the utterances, which are very oral, that you were speaking about today, but a good question.
Yeah. Let me translate the question first, sorry, if you don't mind. پرسیار جنابی یکسلوه هاتیه گرن بیجی از کاتالوگرم و بیجی از راستی چند كتابت قولو بيتت ازديا هاتن نفيسكي كوب الفابيت كليريو لاتيني و الفابيا ازدي بجتو تابع الفابيا كازدي بهيستيا و بجي از بين تشتكي قالكي بالكيش اگر الفابيا كازدي هاي.
So if it's written in 3 languages, so Latin, Russian, and SD alphabet, probably through Russian or Latin, it would be easier to understand. I have seen the SD alphabet, but not in the field, not in villages. It's something that appeared quite recently in discussions that I had with friends, young people actually, and maybe in the diaspora. And people try to learn this new alphabet for them and to say, okay, it's our alphabet, so we have to do something with it. But it was totally absent in the SD villages in Armenia. They had other alphabets.
شتشتي از جيزانم ما يعني الفابيت لجوندك يجوا عند النديد كتاب كاراني مديد الفابيا لاتيني و روسي كيريلي تب كاراني مجي بهيست بالفابيا كازديك و نجدمكي يدور تدركت اللي مدى لي از نزانم كشن بيسان بوي الفابيا هات يكرا.
Christine, would you like to jump in with Shahab's question?
Well, really to say that it's something, just to echo Estelle really, and say it's something that's come into use quite recently. And well, as we know, the kalamis there were part of an oral tradition, so they weren't written down until quite recently. Yes, I don't think I've got much to add about exactly how it was developed, but I think that it's definitely associated with new productions, and especially new religious productions.
Shahab has a question I've pasted into the doc for us. Did you want to? Dr. Estelle, so Shahab asks, he says hello, first of all, and sends you his greetings. And then he asks, while recording your documentaries about Yazidi Kalansars, what differences did you see between men's and women's utterances?
I love this question.
وقت كلامت خوا سر يعني قيد كرن دا چه جداهی لیوا کلامت جنا و میرا دا دیتن يعني كلام السروان.
It is an important question, and I did not have the time to say a word on this. So that's perfect that you ask. The status, the social status in the funerals of men and women is really deep. I mean, for the people who utter something, who perform, is really different. In most cases, the women are close relatives or villagers who come because they know who is dead, so they know the person, they know the family, and even if they come from a bit far away, they somehow know the family. And in such cases, when they come from far away, they come because they are mourning other people from their own family. So people say in Armenia, they say dil shewat, that their heart is burning. They say that these women are in eternal mourning. So the women, when they perform Klame Sermiria, they perform it, they say that it is their personal feelings that they put into words and melody. So it comes from their heart. This is what they say. It really comes from my heart. I do not rehearse. I don't have to learn how to say it. It comes from my heart because I'm injured, because of their life, which is difficult, and etc. And for men, the position is really different. Sometimes close relatives, men, perform, and in such, in a way which is close to women's way. And people say he acts as a woman. But in most cases, when men perform in funerals, they are professionals. They come with two musicians. So there is one singer and two musicians, two duduk players, the oboe. And they come sometimes from very far away. They don't know the family. They are called by phone. I don't know, Shamo is dead, can you come? So he comes, and in the car, while speaking on the phone, said, what is the name of the father, mother, son, etc. So he writes everything on a small notebook, and during the performance, it lasts for 3 days, so it's long. He just composes with the names and what was said about the life of the dead person to him, and he composes his songs, his words about. So it's really different. It's not a personal feeling. It's a knowledge. It's something that they learn, and actually, very often the fathers teach that to their sons. And I have videos of sons learning also, which was really interesting.
Great. يعني برسباش برسيارة برسبا دكتور استيل برسيارة شهابرة أو بجي أبجدا هي أجريدايا بستاتوس جني ومير بالناف يعني يزيد أرمنستاني بجي جند بيجن جبر أب يعني جمال باطن مينة جبوندين مينة دلي ما بوان رد شوتي يعني وقت دل شواتيا خوا أو دكنا بيف والسر دكنا كلام والسر يكي رد بيجن لي وقت يكي مير دبيجد بيجي أوي مير وكا مهناكي وكا بروفيسيونال تلفونا ويتكن ودبيجني فلان كوري فلاني مريا ومدريتو بي يعني دوسة مريمة كلامك يلسر مريمة بيجي أو برسيارة نابي ويدكا وتشكي وشناقر وسا وهمو قل جم خود نبيسي وكلامك يلسر ويرليك دينه ووسا وبجي يعني چند فيديو الجم من هنا وقتك وخلقين جيد بي شاوة سترانك السرية كي دي بيجي.
What a wonderful world you're sharing with us today, and what fantastic questions are opening it up. From Mr. Dilshad, we have the question of why a man would choose to be a hero. Why wouldn't women choose to be heroes? And a sort of secondary set of questions on why men would not choose to stay men but want to elevate into heroes, or is that an elevation, sort of a question of status, hero and gender, I think.
ودلشاد برسيارة قد بيجي شمام مير هلد بيجيرن ببنا مير خاص ببنا لهنگ شما جن هلنا بيجيرن ببنا اللهنگ يا ببن برسيارة دلشاد.
Well, it's a huge and difficult question. The Klame Sermerania, I have not heard as anything for women, but the status, the honorable status, a good status for women in the community, inside the villages, for men it's after the death. So after your death, you can become a hero if you have a family that will work for that. And if you were a good, if you acted as a hero, also you. And for women, it's before their death. These Dilshewat, the burning heart women, are somehow considered as heroes because they suffer. So the position of what is a hero for a woman, it's a woman who suffered and is still alive and still looking for helping everybody and remembering the exiled member of the family, the dead ones. And so this is the position of the woman hero. That would be this, but it's not exactly a hero. It's just that it's difficult but privileged social status in the villages.
بشي أو جن كيرتي هون بين وكان بشي أم دل شواتيا خود بيجن وجبر أو جي زحمت يد بينن مرناك سار بهر تشتير مرناك سكار دوانرا زار دوانرا بان همو تشتا أو جي زحمت يك قالك يا مازنة بينن لي أو وكا الجيانا خود تين ديتن وكا لهنك ليش بشتي جيانا خوا نامين لهنك ناخل كده وبيجي أزجي بتشتي نزانم دبي يعني بتر لسر لي كويني بك.
Actually, for women, I thought that when some, not many, but some AZD from Armenia joined at some point in the early 90s. They joined the PKK as guerrilla. And there were also some girls. So I thought that maybe if they died, some girls died while fighting, they would become heroes. But actually there is no song that are still kept in the memories. So it's as if it was not possible to stay in the memories as a fighter, as this type of a hero. It's another kind for women. Another type.
قالك جا كاتشكو جنت إزداد أرمنستان جل سالت إنه داوان دا قاشنا بحكاكيجي وبيجي مقود بلكي هكا أو يعني حاطن كشتن للشر كده أو جي يعني وكا لهنگ بكم نستران الخل كده لدوجي هتانو هم سترانك نبهيس يكو يك جوان جنا لسر جنا كي جوان ربي.
And the last part of the question, why should people decide to transform after their death men into heroes? Well, I don't know. I should ask the question, but it's a way to remember them. There is no other way. I mean, there is the grave that we visit every year, and when we visit the grave, something has to be said. And for women, some laments are still uttered that, okay, she was a good mother, she was looking after her kids. But for a man, what would you say? You were sitting in the house and not doing anything? No, you have to say something.
Right.
So you have to say that he was a good mother. No, not for all men, of course, but somehow the women in the kitchen, they say this, and this is what they are talking about. And it's the women who perform such songs also. So it's their power somehow to transform it this way. The power of words.
بجيج بيرهك يعني وكا جيانت جناها مكا يعني نزيكي يكن شاوا يعني زاروكت خودان كن زحمتيت هكا جند بيند وكا بجي سترانا هكا السر يعني كلام السر جنا جيرا بيقوتن السر وكا غورا جنكي السر جنا تيجي تيقوتن وكا جنكا قنش بو اب زحمتي زاروكت باش خودان كر وسا لبجي هكا ستران ميران تيل سر ميرارا نقوتن ويتشل سر غوردوان بيجن بيجي ميرا قول مالا خود درونش تشتغنت بيجي وسا وكا ريكا كوان ميرا بالنبي اخو.
Well, Dr. Estelle, I think you just gave a few of the poets and singers in the audience some very good ideas for songs to be written.
Yes.
Will you translate that?
بيجي ماري بيجي دكتور استيل يعني بیرۆگەکە گەلێکی ئەسپەهی داوان گوهدایمە و هەنێکژی نویسەر و شاعرن کە وستران بێژ و سترانپانن هەکە هەنێک سترانە و هەلبەستە لەسەر ڤانژنا ڕەشێک.
And I think you hinted at an answer to the last question we had about what would we even call a woman who fulfilled the conditions, the heroic conditions? What would we even call a woman who checked all the boxes, you know, had all the markers of the hero? And maybe the answer is we don't yet know what to call her because she hasn't been called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until now, the word that comes to my mind when you say a woman hero, it's Dilshewat. It's the way burning heart. That is quite different.
Very different.
Do you
Much
think
more internal.
Do you think maybe that Shingal is the place and where the female hero is developing in the Yazidi community?
That would be wonderful. I need to.
Well, I'm thinking of Nadia Murad and people like this.
I'm thinking of all of
Yeah,
our
but
wonderful female oral historians. I'm thinking of Faiza and Dalia and Dalal and all of these wonderful women we've been working with, and thinking of them as heroes too. And our wonderful men who are actually so supportive of them too.
Actually, I don't want you to understand that I say that there are no women heroes in the community. This is not what I said, no. Really. And of course, there are a lot of heroic postures and people. But just to answer Christine about Sinjar and Nadia Murad, for example, as a figure of a hero, of course she is, but she's a hero through being a victim. So this is somehow the position. It's something to be discussed, but
yeah.
And if she's a hero, then she's not dead. So it's really a new kind of hero, because the problem with men heroes, they have to be dead also, which is a problem.
Yeah.
A problem, or at least it's not for it's not when you live that you're.
Well, I guess Nadia is and other women who've spoken out are heroes, and they're survivors, so they're definitely not dead. That's the whole. It
That's
really
the
is
whole
a new
thing.
kind of hero.
It's a new kind of hero. Well, Christine, maybe that's a good
about that.
Maybe that's a wonderful way for us to transition, Christine, into your closing remarks about new kinds of heroes.
Maybe, but I think maybe Zaidan, would you like to have a go at translating that? So sorry.
وجبر قد يعني جنت لك لهنگ يعني الأرمنستان پیدا نابن يعني الستران بخلقي ده كريستين قد هون شد بيجن يعني الشنغال أف يعني جن لهنگ شي ببن تايبت بشتي يعني نابو دنگي نادية مراد بلند بوي وإيشند يعني ناجيات دي خلقي دي الناف يعني الناف دنيا ده وماريج بسربك القوت أف يعني ديروك زانت هكا مرة كاركين وكا فايزة ودلال وداليا وجوزفين أفشي أفشي يعني لا هنجد ما يتجنن ووسا ليه استيل جو أفهموه يجي تساغن جو شردك معي قد يبقى تساغن.
Yes, so I think on that note, I'll say thank you again to Dr. Estelle for showcasing her wonderful work and taking us into this world of artistic creativity and of just creating heroes and creating new legends. So a big thank you to Dr. Estelle for that.
Pleasure.
And
مالت آبا دكتور استيل جبر قطارت جبر بيبدي بقيمة هامار.
And I think speaking of these new developments is very appropriate for to close our seminar series, because we have really learned that the archiving work that our project undertakes is not just about the past, but it's looking forward into the future. It's bringing something together for the future. And so it seems a very appropriate note on which to conclude our seminar series.
ودجي أرشيفا مجي وقت تشتكش باشا روجيري و يبدي أف داوية كتنج بي أم بش سيمينار تخور بي هكذا بيجي تشتين كن بش باشا روجيري.
And the final thing I would like to say is our Shingal Lives team, we're not going to go home and sit in the kitchen. And what we're doing is we are preparing our archive, and if you follow us on our social media, you will see that when we launch our archive later this summer, we hope it will be, but please follow us on the Toto archive on social media, on Twitter and on Instagram, and you'll be able to see what happens next.
بيبا من الداوي أو كو أم تيمة توتو شنقال ليفز أم ناشن لمطبخة خود روناني لي أمشن كاري خوا بردوام كن بشتي بان سيمينارا وبشتي بروجيجي وهكا أبدي هون كاري ما ببينن أونلاين هون كارن سير إنستغرام وفيسبوك وتويتر ويوتيوب جي يعني بيج توتو يعني بشوبينن وكارما ويلباوا دركبي.
So, and a final big thank you to Dr. Marie for her moderation and her wonderful moderation as always, and to Mamaste Zeydan for his inspired translation, and of course to Kak Hozak, the unseen Kak Hozak, who's making everything possible.
ومالا دكتور ماريجي آفا مالا كاك هوزاك آفا
مالا
وهمك آفا
كاك زيدان آفا
ومالا بروفيسور كريستين جي آفا
yes
همو بيقرأ قهشتنا بيدي.
And Malawa Ava for all of you for coming and joining us and being a part of these seminars. It's been really wonderful.
Yes, it has. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. And